In the second lecture of ongoing series on DNA, today we shall be discussing the primary structure of DNA. For the previous video of the same series, check the description box where we had discussed the constituents of nucleic acid. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Deepika Julania Tomar, welcomes you at Zoolophyte. Now let's start the topic of the day. The native form of DNA is double-stranded like this. DNA is the multiple of deoxyribonucleotides. Multimer of deoxyribonucleotides which joins to form a polynucleotide chain. Monomer of deoxyribonucleotides in a polynucleotide chain are linked by the condensation reaction in which 5' phosphate of one nucleotide linked to 3' of second nucleotide by the elimination of water. This is called as condensation reaction. And the two nucleotides which are joined here are joined by phosphodiester linkage, which is a very strong bond. And since the phosphate or a phosphoric acid present in DNA is acidic in nature, so they are also called as polyanions. Phosphoric acid of a DNA is acidic in nature, so they are also called as polyanions. In a DNA, if 5' of pentose sugar is free, then this and is called as 5' and. Similarly, if 3' of pentose sugar is free, then this and is called as 3' and. So this is the basic of DNA structure. Now let's see the Chargaff rule. Chargaff rules in the structure of DNA is given by Erwin Chargaff. This rule explains the double helical structure of DNA, or these rules are important for the discovery of double helical structure of DNA. These rules postulated by Chargaff tell us about the relationship between nitrogenous bases present in DNA, which are purines and pyrimidines. Chargaff rules are postulated in 1949 and they got published in year 1950. Chargaff postulated two rules which defines the double helical structure of DNA, where first rule says purines are always equal to pyrimidines in a double helical DNA structure. That is, adenine and guanine are always equal to thymine and cytosine. This is the first rule. And second rule is nitrogenous bases which have amino group at 6th and 4th position. Now from the last lecture we know that here adenine has amino group at 6th position and cytosine has amino group at 4th position. And nitrogenous bases which have keto or carbonyl oxygen at 6th and 4th position. Here guanine has ketone oxygen at 6th position and thymine has ketone oxygen at 4th position. These two bases are equal, that is, adenine is always equal to thymine or guanine is always equal to cytosine in a double helical structure of a DNA. These are the two rules which are given by Chargaff, and these two rules apply perfectly on a double helical structure of DNA except some viruses which have single stranded genome. Now the double helical structure of DNA. Watson and Crick proposed the double helical structure of DNA by the X-ray diffraction data which was obtained by two scientists, R. Franklin and M. Wilkins. This double helical structure proposed by Watson and Crick is universally accepted and they got Nobel Prize for it in 1962. Main feature of double helical structure according to Watson and Crick model is double helical structure of DNA is formed of two polynucleotide chains. These are two polynucleotide chains. Next feature of DNA double helix is these two polynucleotide chains are anti-parallel to each other. That is, if this AND is 5' AND, then this AND has to be 3' AND, and this is 5' AND, so this is 3' AND, and this is 5' AND. So they are anti-parallel to each other, and this anti-parallel strand helps to in the formation of hydrogen bonds between nitrogenous bases. Now in double helical structure, n number of deoxyribonucleotides joined to form a polynucleotides, which is number of deoxyribonucleotides are linked by a phosphodiester bond and form a polynucleotide. Then the base pairing between the nitrogenous bases in a DNA is in universal relationship. Base pairing is in universal relationship, that is, A always pairs with T and G always pairs with C or vice versa, and A and T always have double bonds between them, and G and C are always connected to triple hydrogen bond. So this is the universal relationship between the base pairs in a double helical structure, and these base pair are also called as Watson and Crick base pair, and the pairing is also called as Watson and Crick base pairing, and this sort of a base pairing is also called as complementary base pairing. So if we know the sequence of one strand of a DNA molecule, we can easily detect the sequence on a second strand via complementary base pair. Now according to Watson and Crick model, the helix or the rotation of these two polynucleotide strand is right-handed. These two polynucleotide strands are coiled right-handed to each other with the dimensions of antiparallel strand 5', 3', 3', and 5'. They have a diameter of 20 angstrom or 2 nanometers. Next is the complete one helix is of 34 angstrom, and next is, suppose these are the nitrogenous bases. According to Watson and Crick model, the distance between the two nitrogenous bases is 3.4 angstrom or 0.34 nanometers, and this complete helix has 10 nucleotides per turn. These are the dimensions of DNA double helical structure. Now let's see how the constituent in a nucleic acid are attached to form a polynucleotide chain. These are deoxyribose pentose sugars. Carbon 1 of both the side of sugars are linked to nitrogenous base. Suppose this is linked to adenine, so this have to be linked to thymine according to Chargaff's rule. Suppose this is guanine, then cytosine, and suppose this is cytosine, then this will be linked with guanine, and they formed double bond, triple hydrogen bonds. Pentose sugar and nitrogenous bases are linked with glycosidic bond. This bond is glycosidic bond. These are hydrogen bonds, the bonds between the two base pairs of two polynucleotide chain. Now how this pentose sugar is linked to phosphoric acid? This is phosphoric acid. Now this is the 5' AND, basically pentose 5' AND and 3' carbon of an pentose sugar is linked to phosphoric acid. Let's see how. This OH of phosphoric group and this react with each other, and this leads to the removal of this water molecule, H2 of this and hydrogen from here, elimination of water, and this oxygen now linked to this carbon. This is the first phosphodiester bond which was formed between 5' carbon and an phosphoric acid. Now this complete unit forms a one nucleotide. As if we have successive nucleotides here, then same as that of this 5' carbon is also linked to oxygen of phosphoric acid. Now here this OH of next nucleotide linked with this 3' carbon and again leads to the removal of water molecule. So the phosphate in an one nucleotide which was present in an 5' carbon linked to 3' of an previous nucleotide. This is how the 2 polynucleotide chain in an double helical DNA structure is formed, and the bond, this bond is called as phosphodiester bond. Now let's see the stability of DNA double helix. We know that DNA have phosphoric acid in it, and due to this phosphoric acid they have negative charge and they are acidic in nature. Now when this DNA is dissolved in distilled water, then these 2 polynucleotide chains repel each other. Hence in distilled water DNA becomes unstable and convert into a single strand DNA by the process of denaturation, because the hydrogen bond which was found between the nitrogenous bases are very weak. Hydrogen bonds between nitrogenous bases adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine are very weak, which easily get disturbed when they are treated with either a high temperature or a distilled water. And when the same DNA molecule is dissolved in an aqueous medium or a normal water, then the ions present in an water, which are basically sodium ion, they neutralize this negative charge which was given by phosphoric acid to a DNA. So due to the neutralization of negative charge by this sodium ions, the 2 polynucleotides are attached by a hydrophobic interaction, and due to which in an aqueous medium DNA remains stable. That's all for this lecture. And for the next lecture in the same series, we shall be discussing the different forms of DNA. Till then, keep watching and support by liking and sharing the videos of Zoolophyte, and also subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to receive the latest updates. Thank you.